Welcome to Scary Diaries. Today's story is extremely disturbing and revolves around a character who is forced to work overtime in a haunted office due to his laziness. As the clock keeps ticking, those creatures also start to manifest themselves. Then it came to the point that they didn't even have the courage to quit their job, and they were afraid of losing their lives while working. Along with time, such horrible incidents started happening to him that he had to run away from the top floor in just a few seconds. Not only the job, but he decided to leave the city that night due to the fear of those blind creatures. Not only that, something else happened to him that is enough to make you sleep tonight. In fact, maybe more than that. The rest of the story is written in a very interesting and creepy. So, without further ado, I would just like to request that we must reach 1,000 subscribers this month. So, if you're watching our second or third episode, then do press the subscribe button. Your small effort will help us a lot. And if you want to listen to any other story, then do write it in the comment box so that we can bring stories in more season accordingly. That night, I was very late, maybe around 12 o'clock. We had to deliver a client's work by morning at any cost. I got the remaining files from the counter at this time of the night. I remember when my coworker came to give me the files. He said, "Take the files, friend, and get out of here as soon as possible after finishing the work. I don't know who comes here at this time of the night and who leaves." I was expecting him to smile while listening to him, that it was a joke, but his seriousness was showing something else. Anyway, I didn't pay much attention, and I got busy with work as soon as he left. My office was on the 8th floor of a building near Bolthouse, Michigan. I had just spent a few months working here. It was very quiet during the day. There were phone bells everywhere, people's loud voices, and the smell of tea coming from the kitchen of the office. Everything was fine. Usually we used to work from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. But today, after sitting late at night, I was realizing that everything had changed this time. That bright office was beginning to look like a haunted house. I was working on my computer in my cabin amidst the many cabins in the office. That night, apart from the sound of the buttons on my keyboard, there was complete silence. So much silence that I could even hear the heartbeat of my heart. There was still some hustle and bustle on the I road outside, but our office was designed in such a way that the outside noise would reach inside very little. Since I was alone in the office that night, there was darkness everywhere except for the light of my cabin. It had only been 5 to 7 minutes since I had left for my coworker's office when a pen came towards me. It came straight into my feet. It was as if someone had thrown it towards me to get my attention. That pen came so suddenly that I jumped out of the chair for a moment. Then I looked at the pen. I thought to myself that this is just a pen, but by the time I understood the whole story, my body had already started to tremble. A wave of fear had run inside me. There was no one in that corner of the office. In fact, there was no one in the office except for me. So, who had thrown this pen? Since I had never heard of such a thing in this office, I did not take it so seriously at first and kept working again. But as I kept working, my mind was also getting confused with it. Sometimes I felt that someone had thrown it towards me for fun, that if I get scared, I will make a lot of fun in the morning. And sometimes I felt that maybe this is true, and Someone does not like me working in my office at this time. Whatever it was, I was scared in both cases. But today it was not possible to leave without finishing the work. I did not want to waste the respect I had earned from my few months. So I increased my speed a little to finish the work. A few moments had passed when I started hearing someone walking from outside, as if someone was slowly walking towards my office. I stopped typing for a moment and looked that way, but the one who was still coming was a little far from the gate. So I started working again slowly. The sound of his footsteps was getting more and more clear, and then the main door of my office opened, as if someone was about to come inside. I stopped working and started looking that side. The gate of our office was automatic. As soon as someone came, it would open and close automatically. But in front of me, the door was open, but it was not closing. For the next 1 minute, the door was stuck there. It means that someone was standing in the middle of the door. The surprising thing was that I could not see anything in front of me. How was this possible? I used to come and go through this gate every day. It has never happened before that suddenly a technical issue has come. As I was thinking all this, I was getting more and more scared. I realized that you are the only human being here. The existence of someone else means that he is not a human being. Otherwise, he would have definitely shown up, and the door would have closed immediately. I thought maybe it could be a guard, but in case the guard had opened the door, then why didn't he come inside? I slowly started ringing the bell towards the guard. The bell kept ringing for a while, but he did not receive it. For a moment I got a little angry at the guard that where did he go? But what could I do now? So I quietly started looking that way. The problem was that to call the guard, I had to go through the same main gate, which I did not want to do in any case. Now I was in such a state that the door closed suddenly. After so long of fear, I felt a mysterious feeling that whoever it was, he was gone. But after this second action, I realized that it was not safe to sit in the office any longer. Who knows what the coworker had said? He might have said it for the same reason. Maybe something like this happened to him too, which he gave me such a warning while leaving. Anyway, in the face of all this, I quickly made a quick guess. So I found out that at least 2 to 2.5 hours of work was left. That too if I had done it quickly. So without any delay, I started working again. Yes, but I also did so much that I kept ringing the bell to the guard. In a little while, the guard came up. "Yes, brother. Do you need anything?" "Where were you? I called you so many times." I asked him in a little harsh tone. "Why do you need anything?" "I was sitting with the guard in front of me, so I couldn't see your calls." "Okay, never mind. Come here and sit with me. Tell me one thing. Has anything strange happened here before? I mean, some ghosts, etc., or any such strange behavior." He looked at me once. He became a little quiet, and then he said, "Brother, you are a junior here. I have been in this office for many years. I have also complained to the master many times, but he doesn't pay attention to what I say. He'd looked here and there once." And then he said in a lower tone, "This happens to me too. I have gone here at night. I have heard different voices many times. I have seen computers running many times, as if someone is working. Once I saw the machine in front of me running, as if someone was working there. But despite all this, there is one thing. He never caused me any harm." I just said once in a high voice, "Look, I am a guard here. If you don't say anything to me, I won't say anything to you. But then, nothing like this ever happened to me. You just don't be afraid of them. They won't say anything to you. Just do as soon as possible. Finish your work and get out of here. After all this, I refrain from coming here late at night. I spend most of my time at the main gate. Just finish your work quickly and get out of here quietly. Saying this, he got up to leave. Where are you going? I asked him quickly. Brother, I go to the main gate. I am not allowed here. If anything is stolen, where will I get it from? That's why I am helpless. Otherwise, I would have definitely sat with you, he was saying while making an innocent face. I also had a good idea about the situation in Michigan. That's why I started watching him go quietly. The only good thing was that, whatever happens, finish your work quickly and get out of here. The guard has not yet come down completely, that the light in a corner of the office started flickering, as if someone had turned it on and turned it off again. I looked at the switchboard. There was no one there. I understood that they didn't like my work, but I was stuck in the work of such a bad client that if I had left it here, then my class would have started in the morning. But that client was such that he would come to our office and make so much noise that God's protection. Despite all this, I continued working. As the light flickered, I also started chanting prayers loudly. Whatever it was, because of prayers, it stopped for a while. Now that the light was flickering, it stopped for a few moments and then started again, as if every half second there was a slight decrease in its intensity. I understood that whatever creature it is afraid of my prayers. That's why I continued chanting. But now, the problem was that all my attention was now towards that creature. And I was working at the speed of a tortoise. I still remember that my body was shaking and my mind was not understanding anything. That's all I had in my mind, that when will I get out of here and when? So I kept working with effort. A little work was better than not working at all. I was also getting angry at myself that if I had done it on time, then I would not have been stuck in this condition today. But what could have been done now? Files kept out on files, and the time was around 1:30 p.m. I had almost finished the work. Only half an hour's work was left. I picked up a file in my hand, and to get a copy of it, I moved towards the machine in front of me. That machine was kept in a corner. I slowly moved towards it, and it automatically turned on. Although we usually switch it on and take a few seconds to run it, but as soon as it reached me, it automatically turned on, and it was a real threat to me. I froze there for a few moments. I didn't understand what to do. Should I take out the photocopies, or should I get out of here myself? It was better to sit in my cabin and feel all this from here. Here, I was not able to understand who, when, and from which side should come towards me. Now that I had understood well that there was a creature here besides me, every moment I was feeling as if someone was keeping an eye on me, as if some eyes were staring at me. I was also not standing still, but was constantly looking around. That night, instead of the whole office, I was feeling a little more dangerous from a corner. It was quite dark there compared to the whole office. Because the pin that I thought was A had also come from the same corner. That's why I was looking at the same side again and again. In the meantime, my photocopies were done. I quickly picked up the paper and took the first step towards my return. That there is another sound of photocopy in my ears, as if a paper was still being copied in the machine. But that file was with me, and I had also taken the paper. So what was being copied now? My steps stopped. I started feeling strange when I turned back and saw that paper was slowly being printed and coming out. As soon as I picked up that paper, it was empty. I took a deep breath, but in the next moment, not only did my breath stop, but something was written on the other side of that paper. Why are you still here? Finally, 3 question marks after one were telling me that whoever had written it was not happy to work here. At this moment, I started feeling as if I was feeling dizzy. The file fell from my hand, and I took my steps outwards. I reached the main gate with heavy steps, but the main gate did not open. I pressed the button 3 or 4 times after one, but the gate remained closed. "Oh my God, what is happening to me?" I muttered. As soon as the gate did not open, the ground came out of my feet, as if I had panicked. For a moment, I thought to call the guard. But how would the guard hear from here? As soon as I called from above, it was as if I had told those creatures that I was scared of them. I had heard that if you make such creatures feel that you're scared of them, then they scare you so much that, God forbid, my heart began to tremble. I did not understand anything else. I just opened the window and threw something down. Hearing the voice, the guard will definitely come up. That's why I took my steps to that side. I was trying my best that they do not feel that I was very scared. Anyway, I reached the window while acting completely. As soon as I reached there, as if I extended my hand towards the window, I saw someone's reflection behind me in the window. For a moment, I thought that my life would be lost. I was feeling as if someone taller than me was standing right behind me with a black body. In the reflection, I could only see that whatever it was waiting for my next move. He was watching that if I opened the window and tried to run away, then he would catch me. Now I was stuck. The last ray of hope was also over. I understood that he was not going to let me run away. I gently removed the curtain with my trembling body and turned back. Even today, when I think of that time, I feel dizzy. Imagine a person standing alone on the 8th floor at 1:30 in the night with a creature. He should know that his presence is biting someone like a thorn. On top of that, until the guard is present, the person's life is lost. Then, what would be his condition? I don't know how I was tolerating all this and working that night. Imagine my helplessness that was pushing me to work in such a situation. Because I got this job after a lot of hard work, I didn't want to lose it in any way. That's why I was tolerating all this silently. That night, I realized that I was going to faint, but there was no one there. The one who was standing told me that I am not alone. There is someone more powerful than me here. As soon as I turned back, I stepped fast and turned towards the door again. I was so scared that even if the door didn't open, I would still die. It was easier for me. As soon as I went to the door, it opened. But at the same time, I also realized that someone was behind me, as if someone was following me. I looked at the lift and wondered, what if I got stuck with that creature? I got scared and walked towards the stairs. That night, I was going down the stairs very fast. Imagine how long it would have taken me. Maybe a few minutes. No. I came down in a few seconds. The sound of my footsteps had reached the guard. He came running to the first floor to see me. He came running to me and asked me what happened. I couldn't understand what to tell him. My mind was blank. I just said that there is something up there. I am going. I have to get out of the job. Get me out of here. As soon as I said this, I started the bike and left for home. The farther I was going from that building, the more scared I was that something might follow me. I reached home in a while. As soon as I entered the house, I was thinking that as soon as my boss finds out that I didn't finish my work, he will fire me. I was ready to face the consequences. Work is important, but not more important. I thought about this and went to my room. The next day, I had a fever. In the evening, I checked my phone, and I got a message from my boss. As soon as he saw my message, he contacted me. When I called him, he was very worried. Instead of firing me, he just said that he had taken care of your client and promised not to tell anyone about it. No one should know about what happened to you except you, me, and that guard. I don't want any problem to arise. You can take leave and come back to work, but remember not to mention this to anyone. I took leave for the next 1 week and joined the office after the break, but I did so much that I never worked alone at night. I used to complete all my work on time. Further, if you like this story, do press the subscribe button. This month, we have to reach 1,000 subscribers. Your small effort will help us a lot. If you want to hear more stories like this, click on the link. See you in another story. Thank you. Good night.